Hello everyone, I'm Annie Gibbins and you're listening to Memoirs of Successful Women, the podcast where you get to hear candid conversations with fascinating women from around the globe who share aspects of their business and life journey, how they measure their success and what they have learnt along the way. So I'm delighted to have on my program today Barb Hildenbrand, who's the founder and president of Stepping Stones Consulting. Barb is a certified speaker, teacher, coach, and a Maxwell certified behavior analyst trainer on the John Maxwell team. She's also an author and is currently working on another book that we'll get to hear about today. So welcome to the program, Barb.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be here with you.
It is a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to hearing all about your journey, and particularly because I've never met anyone who's been part of the John Maxwell training team. And I know that you've got so much behind that, so much to your story. I know you're also a woman of strong faith, and I'm assuming that has definitely driven you to where you are today. And also that you're a mum of so many diverse. You've got adopted children, stepchildren, foster children, grandchildren. It's all happening in the world of Barb. So tell me about DISC first. So does DISC come out of the John Maxwell program, or is that something? And what is DISC to those who aren't familiar?
DISC it's a personality profile system. It's actually been around for quite some time. But what happened was the John Maxwell team and the DISC team got together and kind of married their programs so that we have just a fantastic report that comes out after someone does an assessment. We get a report and we have 3 graphs. One is how you view yourself. One is how you perceive the public views you.
Yes.
And the third one is how you work under stress. So, and then we compare those 3 graphs and we come up with a personality blend, because everybody's a blend of the 4 styles. They're DISC, which is where DISC comes from.
Yes.
And so your Ds are your driven type people. They're your real, go-getter, make a decision now and do it kind of people. Then your Is are your influencing people. They're the talkative ones. That would be me.
Self-confessed.
And then you have your S's, who are your more stable or steady folks who don't like change a whole lot. And then we have our C's, which is called compliant. And those are the people that are kind of by the book. They want to make sure I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and they like facts and figures. So, those are the 4 blends. And like I said, everybody's a blend of the 4. It's just a matter of which ones are more prominent.
Yeah, of course. And we need all of those people and all of those personalities. So there's no right and wrong, and there's no better or worse. It's just that we are who we are, and we're usually a combination of at least 2 dominantly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's that diversity that I love. I love that we're all different, and it makes life more interesting.
It sure does. Absolutely. And you can delegate to those things that just aren't your calling, which is even better.
Yes.
Because other people love that. I love that in my business. It's kind of like you love dotting the I's and just checking everything, whereas I'm out there going, we should do this and we should do that. And it's great. So for people who then do that DISC program with you, at what stage of their life are they doing it, and what stage of their life should they do it?
Well, it kind of varies, and your personality can change over time. Some people think that once you are designated or put in a particular box, if you will, that it can't change, but it can, based on what you're doing for yourself. If you're on a personal growth program, then you absolutely can change the personality type, because as you grow, you have, other things become more important, or you have a greater strength in another area. So they can change, but a lot of times it's good if you are feeling like you need to learn to communicate better, or if you're just kind of trying to figure out who you are in the world, and you kind of feel outgoing, but then sometimes you like to be isolated, or, you really like facts and figures, but then you like to go out and be with your friends and have a good time and be boisterous,
Yeah.
So, sometimes it's kind of hard to find your place. So this is helpful because it shows your blend and how, it's okay that you like facts and figures, but you also like to party.
Exactly.
It's okay. And that's just your blend. And so then you'll reveal to yourself that, okay, yes, sometimes I need to get out and have a good time, but when it's time for me to be quiet and isolate, that's okay too. Because that's me. That's who I am, right?
Exactly.
So I think it's helpful for the self-assurance that you're okay, and whatever blend you are, it's good. It's
Exactly.
good. I had one guy one time, he was getting ready to take it. It was actually a married couple that was taking it together. They've been married for 50 years. And he said, "Oh, so you're going to be able to tell me how bad a person I am?" No. No. I said, there are no bad people.
Exactly.
There are no bad personality blends. They're just different.
Yeah.
And I got a real great testimonial actually from him after they did it, because they kind of saw why he was doing things he did the way he did, and why she did things the way she did. And they were like, "Oh, okay. That makes total sense after 50 years."
I know, which is why I asked you, when should people do it? Because it was really interesting. My husband James and I did it about 20, 30 years ago. It feels a long time anyway, at the beginning of our marriage anyway. And it was really interesting because I was DI and now I've redone it and I'm ID. And he definitely was a CI and now he's IC. So it's really interesting that little, that we've actually just flipped our dominant and sort of recessive or whatever the language is for it over time, which is quite interesting, but probably because we've both become more influential and in our positioning and the way we operate, which was really quite interesting. But the most interesting thing was it actually made us understand that, that's why no one's there dotting the I's in our relationship. Sometimes it's kind of like, you're going to do it. No one does it. And then we also found out, that's right. While you're expecting someone, when you have those conversations going, you should just know, why wouldn't anyone just automatically do this, behave this way, right? Like, and then you suddenly went, oh, wow, if they think like that and there's all this whole thinking behind it and their personality framework, it's like, no, they didn't even think about it and it wasn't even personal. So it's so fascinating. I love that. So there must be an element of, well, what drove you beneath this to actually go, well, I want to get into coaching and training in that whole space of disc modeling and personality profiling. What led Barb to that?
I felt that it was a way that I could help more people. My profession was as real estate sales agent, and I like that. I enjoy helping people find a home, and they go through the house and they're, oh, we could put the couch here, and and they're placing their furniture, and especially first-time home buyers. I love first-time home buyers because I can teach them the process, and it's such a big deal for someone buying their first home.
Yeah.
And I love that. But I wanted to do something that was more effective for more people. And when I learned about John Maxwell, and his vision is adding value to people so people can add value to people. So it's a pay it forward kind of thing. And so the more people I can help, the more people they can help, which helps many more people.
Beautiful.
Instead of just a few at a time. So, and I am an I, so I want people to be happy. And I thought, well, if I can help people find out who they are and as we haven't talked about it, but the Soul Spa program helps people get over past hurts, past abuses and that kind of thing. So if I can help people move forward in their life and find happiness and victory, then I'm all about that. That's my goal. That's what I want to do.
That's your passion. Oh, I love it.
It is.
Beautiful. And definitely you can help a lot more people than just in real estate, for sure.
Right. Definitely.
Right. So tell us about Soul Spa then. How does that link to what you do? And why do you want to give beautiful flowers to people? And why has it been frustrating during COVID?
Well, Soul Spa is right now it's for women, but I'm developing one for men. And I'm hoping that my son will run it for me. But it's overcoming past hurts or abuses. We all have a past, and some of us have kind of a little more ugly past than others. But most of us have been through something that has hindered our growth to this point in our lives. And so the Soul Spa is it's a self-reflecting program where, the whole idea is to bring ladies in and make them feel loved and pretty and, just kind of pamper them for a while and go through. We do some activities and it's pretty interactive. And we talk about past and what happened and how we can get over that and not let it keep affecting us. Don't let that control the decisions that we make in the future. Starting today, that's no longer going to control, and it's not going to occupy my mind or control the decisions that I make for the rest of my life. And find that self-love that oftentimes is lacking, because more often than not we have a self-loathing as opposed to a self-loving,
which is sad but a true reality. I know a lot of people who come into my mentor and coaching program exactly the same. It's like I've never given myself permission to even reflect on who I am, why I am that way, what is limiting my belief system, what am I anchored by in a negative way. And a lot of the default is on I'm not very good at that. I can't do that. I wouldn't be able to do it. Everyone else is amazing. People don't like me for these reasons. It's really quite incredible and it's really sad. So I join you, my gorgeous sister from US, in this mission to actually allow people that opportunity to go, you know what, you are so amazing in your own right, in your own way. It is so wonderful that we get these opportunities as women who have this passion to encourage women, support women, enable them to be able to, value themselves and value the person that they were designed to be, born to be, and the potential that they have by making it possible for them to pause and to stop and to spend some time reflecting on who they are, who they were born to be. So a lot of this must come through your faith as well. So how has your faith led you to where you are today? How does it impact your business and what you strive to achieve?
Well, it's funny because when I first did the Soul Spa program, I was developing it and I wasn't bringing faith into it at all. And I kept hearing, they can't do it without me. I'm the best dancer. And I'm like, okay. So finally I was like, okay. So there is an element at the end. And I do talk about women of the Bible and how they went through certain things and kind of overcame or how they reacted. But, and of course at the end, I do talk about how, that pretty much God is the best answer. And he made us wonderfully special. And he didn't make us to be miserable. We need to learn to forgive ourselves. He is a gracious and forgiving God. And so we need to learn to forgive ourselves, because if he can forgive us, why can't we forgive ourselves, right? And that's kind of one of the bigger issues that a lot of us have, is not forgiving ourselves for choices we've made or allowing something to happen over time, So forgiveness is kind of one of those dirty words that people don't like to talk about, but It's so, so important.
Yeah. Okay. What's the general response after women have done your, disc modeling and the soul spa? What did they say back to you? What did they receive from that?
Well, a lot of times they kind of go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize. Like, one of the exercises that we go through is we talk about, we use 3x5 cards and we write down statements that maybe someone has told us over time, like, you're not good enough, you can never do that, you'll never amount to anything, those kind of negative statements. And it was so funny, during I just did one in February, and there was a gal sitting there and she's just kind of thinking and thinking, and I said, or it may be a statement that you say to yourself. And she just went, oh my gosh. And she started writing and she started crying. And then at the end of that activity, we throw these away, and I take them out of the room. So, they're gone. So these are things that you're never going to hear again. And she ripped that little card up as tiny as she could. And but that was her aha moment. It was so beautiful. I mean, I kind of felt bad that I made her cry, but that's kind of my goal.
Oh, absolutely.
In the soul spa is, to get you to cry, to mourn over whatever it is, to grieve over the past that you've lost, but they're cleansing tears because you're moving forward, and that's not going to affect you anymore. You let it go from then on and live in victory.
Yeah.
So, and it's moments like that. I love them.
I can just imagine you going, please cry. Come on, you're so close. You're so close. Oh yeah, that's it, sweetheart. Now we can rip up that paper.
Well, except that one of my strengths is empathy. So, that I end up crying too. So I have to be careful with that.
My goodness. So what does victory look like? What does, to you, those women who then have a few hours and they go through this big experience, and they come out victorious, what does that look like?
Well, I think they walk out with they're lighter stepping, and they're smiling and talking about the future differently than when they came in.
Yeah.
Typically when we start a session, everybody's kind of quiet, and and then we do the introspection, and of course that's kind of quiet, but they're just ready to go tackle whatever it is that they want to do. And, whether it's start a business or if it's just go home and love on their kids a little bit better, whatever it is that is success to them, that's what I want for them. Yeah. And they talk about it as they're leaving in a more positive light, which is totally exciting and thrilling for me.
So true. So it's the energy, it's the excitement, it's the opportunities going forward rather than the anchors that have held them back, pretty much is what I'm hearing from you.
Yes, absolutely.
So you've managed to now do the John Maxwell training, and you're a certified coach and speaker and trainer. For those people that you've met in that sort of space, what do you think success looks like to them? What do you notice about those people?
Well, it kind of varies. Everybody has their own idea of what success is. Success to someone who's a stay-at-home mom may be that she wants to treat her children better and love on them more and be a better teacher to them, or give them better direction. Or, like I said, the other extreme, success may look like starting a business, and an international business even. It just depends on the individual. I think the key is to define what that looks like to you, and go for it, and don't let anything, even yourself, hold you back.
The women that you've met then and the women that you work with, what do they wish they had done earlier? What do they look back and go, oh my gosh, I wish I had.
One of the greatest regrets is not having done something. They've done numerous studies of people on their deathbeds, and they've said, what is your greatest regret? And they say, not doing what I wanted to do, or not believing in myself more. And that's a heck of a time to realize that, when you're on your way out, it's kind of too late. But that's what most have said. So, and I find that, people are saying, God, I wish I had known sooner that I could forgive myself, or that it's okay that I'm, whatever personality blend I am. And, it's just the way I am. It's not bad. It's just me. And that's okay. So a lot of times it's the regret of not knowing sooner.
Yeah. And that's what I find too. I meet a lot of women who are 40, 50, 60, even plus, who are then going, oh my gosh, like with this new revelation, I should have done, I knew I wanted to do these certain things in my 20s and 30s, but I didn't for a variety of reasons, which when you look back are just other people's expectations on you, other people's desires for you, and it then curbs the way that you run your life. And so it is that moment of, how do we encourage these young women coming through to trust in themselves more and to spend that time to, invest in themselves. It's sort of an interesting sort of paradox. We've got this weird global world of everyone should be the same. And, and then you've also got this desire, this hunger in people to have authentic. And we're the different people. So if I look at the arts or music, whatever, they're looking for raw, new, edgy, different talent, right? They're looking for uniqueness. And I've just I've got a biography coming out, and it's a bit like that. It's like, we want your story. We want the unique parts about you, Annie, because it's called Becoming Annie. And then we also then have other people going, oh no, I couldn't be that way because other people don't feel comfortable with that. They don't feel, I've got to be more like other people. So it's a challenging paradox, isn't it? How to be your unique self while feeling that you fit into society.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And knowing that it's okay. Who you are is who you are, because not only does your personality blend come into play, but where you come from plays into who you are, and the things that you've learned along the way. We all have a different perspective of life. There's an activity that I like to do sometimes, and it's you put people on different sides of a beach ball.
Right.
And so this person over here, they can see, you ask them, what color do you see primarily? And they say, well, I see red. And you ask the person on the other side, well, what color do you see? Well, I see blue. And you ask the person on the other, on a third side, what color do you see? Well, I see yellow. Well, so they came from different walks of life, and so they see different things. They've grown up with different belief systems. They've grown up with different parental systems. And all this comes into play of who we are as we grow. And our belief systems are developed back then, in our younger years. So, all of this comes into play with the personality. So we are all unique and we are all special. And I just find that beautiful. I love that about people, that we are different. I mean, can you imagine if we were all the same?
How boring it would be.
Yes.
I know. I just get excited when I meet people, and then I just sort of go down a layer or two, and then you suddenly go, oh, it's so different. Everyone is so different. I've got 5 children. They're so different, and it's this weird view that if you've been brought up in the same way, they'd all be the same. But that's right. You've got your own nature of who you were born. You've got that personality. You've got your life experience, and life, has its ebbs and flows and knocks and challenges and joys. And we all, it all sort of forms us to the way we are and the way we see the world. And that's normal, and it's right. It makes it really interesting. I know from being in business and on boards, I actually love boards that are more diverse. They'll actually add such a strength. Who wants all the same people? So you actually want a really interesting mix. And when that comes with challenging conversations, and it comes with different opinions. But that's actually great, because it makes you dig deep for going for the majority, but it also makes you clearly articulate what you want, what you're wanting to achieve, who is that for, and all of those aspects. And I think I think a word that's coming to me from this conversation is tolerance. That we need to also be more tolerant, appreciating how different people are, and rather than it being wrong, it's just actually just saying you're just uniquely different, and that's all okay, which is so beautiful. So you've got a tribe of a family. You've got a big family, your own children, mixed family. You've got grandchildren. You're speaking at events. You're running your soul spas virtually at the moment. You're also doing disc profiling and coaching people. So what are your biggest challenges as a woman in, with so much happening in your world? What do you find are the biggest challenges for you personally?
Trying to balance being a mom and a wife, and, with the work, making sure that I'm giving enough attention to everything, and you're not getting distracted by things. Remember, I'm an I, so I get distracted by shiny objects or cute puppies or kind of anything. So keeping on task when I need to stay on task is kind of a struggle. I easily allow people to distract me. In fact, I had when I was at a particular real estate company, we had a fantastic trainer, and he knew me well, because my daughter-in-law would call me and say, hey, I'm going to go over to the store. You want to come with? And well, yeah.
Of course
I will. That's more fun than doing paperwork here at my desk by myself. Yes. So he had me actually put a sign up that said, family and friends will not distract me from success. And I had some people that were pretty upset with that. And they said, oh, family is everything. And yeah, but this is me. I need to stay and do paperwork, not go shopping or go out to lunch. So that's kind of one of my struggles, is to stay on task, especially when someone wants to do something or talk on the phone or, anything but a task, because I'm so people oriented.
Yeah. And I thank you for sharing that, because I know in my program, we look at getting the balance of success, balance and happiness, and that it's a tricky blend, isn't it? That you actually, at the end of the day, you want to be happy. You want to just be an all-rounded happy person. But that comes with balance. So how do you balance that family and friends and work and everything? But to have success, and for what that means to you, that will always come with, its time management, its priorities, its efficiencies, and their decisions that, when you do prioritize yourself, other people will feel uncomfortable by that at times, because they'll have a different priority system, as we all do. And so it will be challenging. But I think for all of our listeners, for that reality that, everyone battles with that. How do we spend our time? How do we prioritize ourselves? And then tuning into, I know I'm easily distracted. I know I'd prefer to go shopping, but what does, if I am to be successful in this, if I am to run my soul spa program, if I am to coach these people, if I am to present at this conference or whatever it is, it actually requires a self-discipline and a self-love. It's coming down to that self-love of, because this is who I am, and this is what I'm choosing to do, and this is the space that I want to be in, and therefore they also deserve the whole of me at this time. you know. And
Right,
so
right.
and that's a lesson that I've learned, that when I'm doing
Mhm.
something, I want to give my whole of me to that task. And then when I'm then, you know, with my family, whatever, I want the whole of me there. Whereas, you know, previously I had that learning of, you know, I'm sort of like half at different things. I'm at
Right.
an event but my mind's on something else. Or if I'm out with the family, my mind is, oh, but I wish I was doing something else. And now it's actually a real discipline, isn't it, to be able to go,
Yes.
I'm fully here at work, I'm fully with my family when I'm with them. And that's been a
Hmm.
real joy to me to learn and now to live. As you know, we always get distracted at times, and that balance always requires a little bit of modification. But it is a good learning and a good thing for other people to reflect on.
Right, right. Yeah, and I just heard a gal that she said that what she did, because she wasn't used to working at home, and now she is. So she kind of struggled with that whole getting down to business type thing. So what she did is she came up with a ritual where she would come into her office and do things a certain way, and that got her brain tuned into, okay, it's work time.
Yeah.
And then when she was finished for the day, she would have a ritual that told her brain, okay, work is over. We're not going to think about work until tomorrow. So, and it was done, and it has worked beautifully for her. And it's definitely something that I need to implement. That when I come into my office, it's work time. That's it. And when I leave, I'm not taking work with me, even though it's just in the other room. I'm
Mm.
not taking it with me. It stays in the office. So I thought that was a great idea that she had.
Yes, and I think a lot of people are challenged by that at the moment during COVID. When we're working from home, suddenly work is there all the time for those people who haven't worked at home. And so I've had that problem with my team, you know, that, you know, one of them was like, oh my gosh, I'm working all the time, because as soon as I wake up, I see my laptop's there and my desk space is there. And so some people are working too much. Others might find it hard to, are more distracted. But it's that concept of setting up frameworks in your life, you know, of,
Mhm.
right, I'm actually clocking on, clocking off, or I'm working in the best way that works for me, and I know what that is. You know, I've got another lady in my program who knows that she's actually better switched on. She used to sort of not focus from, you know, 8:30 to 10, and so now she's actually shifted a whole day. She starts at 10, so she can now go off and walk her dog and do her things, and that's a good thing. You know, you want to use your time wisely if it works with your position, and then be able to be fully switched on, rather than the procrastination can then be more frustrating, and then no one wins. So if you look over your life now, what have you been your biggest joys? What have you celebrated the most?
Probably my boys.
Yeah.
I'm very, very proud of my sons. They have grown to be amazing men, great dads, husbands. So I'm pretty excited about those. But as far as what I do now, besides I have my little guy, is just the difference, you know, like I talked about the aha moments when I see somebody have a breakthrough or do something that they didn't think that they could do, or, you know, just have those successes in life, and they get to go, I did it, you know.
Yeah.
I am more than happy to stand there and go, yay, I knew you could. That's my favorite thing to do, is to be a cheerleader and encourage people, and then be there to give them the high five, or the, well, not the hug right now, but, you
The
know,
virtual
to
hug.
be there to say, you know, I knew you could. You did a fabulous job. I'm so proud of you. I love saying that. I'm so proud of you.
Mm. Well,
It's one of
that's
my
right. And
favorite.
people need to hear that we're proud of them. And then now please give yourself permission to be proud of yourself. You know,
Yes.
that's where the real breakthrough, I think, happens. It's a layered approach.
Absolutely.
And what a joy that is to celebrate. Well, if our listeners would love to reach out to Barb, she's all of the links are in this podcast on my platform. She's on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. And so she's very easy to find if you're feeling like a soul spa moment, or you'd love some disc profiling, or to hear more about her speaking opportunities. I think she's got a lot to offer, and she's just got a beautiful, beautiful heart and soul. So I thank you so much for being on my program today. It's been a joy. It's been really lovely.
It's my pleasure. I very much enjoyed being with you today.
Terrific. Thank you. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Memoirs of Successful Women. You can find me at anniegibbins.com, where you can download my free resources, get connected on social, and check out my online magic transformation program. If you love this show, feel free to subscribe to future episodes, and of course, share it with your friends. I'll see you again soon, and until then, happy podcasting.